Hey, y'all, I'm Shane Sams, host of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, and I've got a great episode for you today. Today, I'm talking to Flipped Lifestyle community members Kurt and Sirena Werfele. We've got a couple on the show today, guys. You know there's going to be some fireworks when we get the husband and the wife on the mic at the exact same time. But Kurt and Sirena have an incredibly inspiring story about how they've already quit their jobs. They've already went out and pursued time freedom so they could build an online membership to impact lives all over the world. You're going to hear how Sirena overcame breast cancer, overcame an accident that left her in a wheelchair to go out and build a better life for her and her family. You're going to hear how Kurt and Sirena are working together to build an online business as a couple. And we are going to go deep into structuring their membership so that they can be successful when they launch that membership later this year. I had an amazing conversation with Kurt and Sirena. I was having fun. I was laughing. I was saying silly stuff. And man, it's just brought joy to my heart today to be able to talk to these members of the Flip Lifestyle community. I know you're going to love this podcast too. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again today. Super excited to talk to another member of the Flip Lifestyle community. We got two members on the show today. I'm excited to welcome Kurt and Sirena Werfele, and I had to practice that one a little bit. Kurt, Sirena, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you, Shane.
I am pumped. You guys have an inspiring story that I think everybody listening needs to hear about doing whatever it takes to chase your online business dream. Everybody wants that, the safe, sure thing. I'll quit when I know it's going to work. I'll start my business when I know it's going to work. Well, all y'all listening right now are about to be put on the guilty flame because that's not what Kurt and Sirena are doing. So it's going to get hot in here for y'all listening right now. I know it is, but you're going to be inspired to do it too. So Kurt, why don't you and Sirena tell me a little bit about you, your background, and what you're doing now, and then we'll talk about your online business.
Yeah, sure. So, Kurt Werfele, and basically my background was in sales, but in consulting. But now I am a full-time coach with a roster of clients all over the world, and we are in the process of building our own online membership and online business for coaching.
Mm-hmm. And currently, I quit my 9-to-5 to go home and kind of do contract work. And I'm a VA for a couple of people. And one of whom is someone that is a podcaster who I found you all through. And Jocelyn had done an interview with Esther Littlefield. And I was like, that's it. So that's how my world kind of pieced together, because I'm like, I wanted to do online. I've been bugging Kurt for since I was listening to you all, even before then. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of delays on the road, health issues and different moves and all kinds of crazy stuff. But we just made a decision last year that this is it. And I came home, and then Kurt now works as a contract as well. So we kind of own our time and own our family time. And so now we're very excited about hopefully launching next month our business together.
It's getting serious around here. Yeah. Getting serious. So you guys sent me an email and you were telling us about your story, and it was so inspiring to me. I really wanted to talk to you guys because, a lot of people think that, they listen to me or Jocelyn tell our story, and there was a lot of success fast, right? But sometimes people like to overlook the iceberg underneath the water, and they don't see all the sacrifices that we made. Like, we didn't just say, we're making lots of money, we're going to quit our job and everything's going to be okay. Like, the year before, we made huge decisions like selling our house and downgrading to a house that was built in the 1930s, right? Like, giving up all of the creature comforts that Americans are so used to, right? Like, and we said, hey, no, we're going to live like no one else, and later we'll get to live like no one else. And we did that. And what's amazing about your all's story, when you really dig into it, is you were pursuing jobs. You were doing the career path. Like Kurt, you were selling insurance. And Sirena, what were you doing before you did the VA work and started doing contract work? Human resources, is that what it was?
Yeah, I was at that time human resources. Yes.
Exactly. So you hear the story, like a lot of people listening right now, hear our story. You get inspired to do it. And like a lot of people right now are listening and they're inspired to do it. But then you guys actually said, no, we want this. We're not going to try this. We're not going to dream about this. We're going to do this. And you left your job and found something else that could be a bridge to where you actually want to be. And I don't want anyone to overlook that, because I'm sure that was not an easy decision. I'm sure there was a little bit of fear in there, wasn't it? A little bit?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Because the job that I left was very secure and benefit rich and all that. And so the big thing is like, oh my gosh, if we take this leap, what about insurance? What about, all these things that could be fearful? And I had struggled with a lot of health issues. So that was a big deal for me and for us. And so we did have to do that. But honestly, not everything lined up when we made that decision. Mm-hmm. We had to really have a step of faith in that, and things did line up, counting on getting new clients for Kurt. And then he landed this position in a coaching team contract as well, which really helped. So it wasn't until we took that step that other things started coming in, which we sometimes see in our own life, that we have to walk it before we see the reality of it.
Well, you can't put the dominoes don't fall and look cool until you push the first one. And you know what I'm saying? And we all know that, like, sometimes you push that domino and the whole thing just doesn't work. You like lined up the fifth domino too far from the sixth, and the other 1,000 just stand there. And you're like, dang it, what do we do now? Well, you get up and you push the sixth one. That's what you do. Right. Sometimes you got to get up and you got to push it again. And Joss and I also have a philosophy that we live by. And I actually think this is the true secret to our success, and the secret to almost anyone's success that I know who've went out and created an online freedom business, right? Is you have to put yourself in the right place to be in the right place at the right time. Like, people want to get lucky. They hope that they run into the right people, but really until you do it, you're not even going to have a chance. And that's what you guys have done, is you've given yourself time freedom, even though you traded it for a little less security. And now you have a chance to start something successful. Did you, when you took the leap, did you, like you said, things didn't line up at first, but then they did line up to kind of stabilize everything? Is that when you saw the opportunity, is when you started taking the risks and you started like jumping into this?
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, it was when we just put our foot down and said, we've got to figure out a way to do this. And for me, it was just in July, I'd been working doing training development for a hospital system locally here in the Western North Carolina area. And it was like, you know what? I've got to find a way to start coaching, just coaching and contracting. So I can, like you said, open up that time so we can make our time our own. And you're right. You got to put yourself out there. I'll also add, you got to find your people. And find who, you have values in common with. And that's one of the things that we were very blessed with this summer. I've got a great consulting gig, but it lets me have like that flexibility. So now that we are small business owners, I mean, like literally, even though we're contracting, now we have that time to go and take that next step and to jump into that membership site that you guys inspired us to start. And through that, I know that we're going to be able to find our people all over again, because we're going to be speaking right to them directly. So yeah, it's a little scary, but it's worth it because
I think you have the confidence now too to actually pursue. Like, the first time we took a risk, it worked. Well, surely we just got to take the second risk, and that'll work too. I'll tell you what happened to me one time where I really learned this lesson about if you want something new, you have to move to a new environment. That doesn't mean quit your job necessarily or sell your house or whatever. But sometimes when you're stagnant, you got to move. And sometimes the life will force you into that. Like, I went to college way back in 1996. And, and I went, when I first went to college, my roommate was one of my best friends from high school. And he was a really good student, really good influence on me in high school. And he went to college and just went buck wild and just like lost his mind, right? And didn't know it, but right before Christmas, of 97. It was Christmas 96. Me and him went out to lunch, and I was going back to the, spring semester in 97. And out of nowhere, he just said, man, I'm not going back to school. Got a lot of family problems I got to deal with. And really, it felt out is what happened. And he didn't want to he was embarrassed about it. So I go back to school, and I don't have a roommate. All right. I don't have any friends near me on campus, and it forced me to go find a new circle. And then the next year, the same thing. I moved into a new building. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put myself in a new building. I don't want to be near anybody that's near me from my hometown. I don't want to know anybody going in. I don't want to know my roommate. I don't want to know nothing. And I went in, and my first roommate was like, he was also, I would come in from class, and it'd be like 3 p.m, and the dude would be sitting there like drinking a bourbon. And like he'd be high as a kite from smelling like pot from the night before. And finally one day I walked over to the curtains, and I just opened them, and the sun shined in like a vampire. He started melting. And I turned around. I said, bro, you got to go. I said, you are dragging me down. I said, I do not want to live with you anymore. And he goes, all right, man, I get it. And he just got up and left, and I never saw him again. He just left all his stuff. I was like, what just happened? So I chased this guy out. I get another roommate, and he's awesome. But I moved into this dorm. I met all brand new friends, and I met Jocelyn. And but I had to move on and put myself in that different environment. And it was scary, man, because I'm from a small town in Southeast Kentucky. I didn't know anybody. And all my other friends were still like living with each other and still dealing with high school drama and all that. And I was like, man, I'm going a different direction. And when you really do that, it's a catalyst for change. I think of every live event we've ever been to. I think about selling our house and moving into a new place. And Jocelyn and I get antsy about every 5 or 6 years when we go somewhere new anyway, Yeah. So like you do have to do that. And for anybody listening to the Flip Lifestyle podcast right now on audio, if you're not changing nothing's going to change. Right. I hate to tell you, it's just not. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you guys, tell me a little bit about the health issues, because I think that's really important. It's not like you guys made this decision lightly, because, when I read your form that you filled out to be on the show, it was so inspiring. When I was reading, I was like, you guys quit and did something different in the middle of this? Like, so just what you're comfortable with sharing, like, tell me about what was going on at the time with these health issues.
Sure. About 5 years ago, at the time, I was a pastor on staff, and I was growing ministries basically. And during that time, I got inspired because I thought I wanted to go into coaching. My background actually, and my degree and experience is a clinical counselor. And so I did that for a number of years with terminally and chronically ill patients. So now I'm on staff, and I'm doing pastoral guidance and different things. And I kind of get inspired. I'm like, you know what? I'd like to do my own thing, but I didn't know what that own thing was. And then all of a sudden I get diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was like, here we go. And so that kind of took me out of the pocket for a while, and got through that year, and had a lot of time to think though, which is good. And in the midst of that, Kurt was offered an agency, as he was an insurance agent with State Farm, and which required to move. And we're like, well, this is probably a good time. So we moved from the Raleigh area to the Western North Carolina. And so we moved here, and we started to reinvent again. And within a few months, Kurt realized that wasn't for him. And so we closed the agency, and it was like, okay, we just got to deal with the moment here and, put food on the table. And so I ended up working in HR as kind of a bridge. And it was a good position. And Kurt did some consulting work and ended up working at a hospital. Kind of a year or two recovery, I realized it was maybe time to dream again. And then something unfortunate happened. I had a very severe back injury happen at work, where I was helping to tear down after a training. And I basically did something to my back, which ended me up in the hospital because I went unconscious due to pain.
Oh my gosh.
So that was awful. And I still deal with that. That was 2018. And I'm still dealing with the chronic nature of pain with that. But it really pushed me again, a lot of time to think. And I was like, and that's when I heard you all and about you all and got connected and became a member. But I was like, this is it. Like I could do coaching and I can do it online and grow membership. I even built a website. Kurt was 100% behind me. I had never built a website before, but I did it and I was ready to go. I had 2 clients and things were happening and it was great. And then I realized in the midst of it, I was like, I really don't want to do this. And it wasn't the online business. It was what I was doing. And but there was a lot of struggle in that because when you're dealing with chronic pain, you're dealing with security in that as far as medical. I'm cancer free for 5 years now.
Hallelujah.
Right.
That's amazing.
And, but there's these ongoing question marks of financial needs and healthcare and whatnot. So when we were making this decision, I had been bugging him. I'm like, come on, we got to do this together. Let's do this with your coaching.
Hey, Shane, real quick, no offense, but I got tired of hearing you and Jocelyn's name over and over again. It wore me the heck out. I'm just letting you know, but I love you now. It's fine. I'm good. But I'm like,
who are these people? Why are you talking about these people?
I'm like, I got a vision here. We can do this. And so this past summer, out of the blue, it was like the heavens opened up and Kurt said, we should do an online business. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
And we were listening to your podcast on the way back from, actually it was Kentucky. I think we're out 4th of July and it just clicked. It finally clicked with what I was doing coaching and what she wanted to do. And by the way, she won't tell you this, but she persevered a lot. You got someone here who has a will of sheer iron. To see what she went through, the pain, the back pain, and psychologically, it messes with you with chronic pain. But she never stopped moving forward towards her goal, her vision, and wanting to create that life for her that aligned with her values. And so none of this would be happening if it wasn't for her. And then you guys, that's you, Shane.
That's our job. Our job is to push people off cliffs. And and if you resist, I'm stronger. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm not going to quit. I'm a big dude, right? You're going over the cliff.
I'm not going to mess with you. No,
I tell you what.
I'm sorry. Well, I saw 2 worlds combine because I started doing travel for fun because we went to Disney and we celebrated our 20th anniversary there, and Kurt ended up pushing me through in a wheelchair through 3 parks because my back just wouldn't let it happen. Wasn't the way we thought we'd celebrate, but we had a blast. And for the first time, my focus turned from limitations to possibilities.
Oh.
And I heard someone talk about a travel company, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be so much fun to help people plan. I plan executive travel all the time. Why not plan fun things? And so I became a travel agent just for fun. And Kurt and I were talking one day, and I said, I had this logo all the time, and it was travel to possible, travel to possible, travel to possible. Because I saw travel we did too, that travel's been pivotal in our life because it helped open up your minds. Like you leave the noise behind of every day and your mind kind of opens up and you can dream a little bit. And we saw that how it can open up possibilities. And I told Kurt one day, I'm like, this travel to possible thing is not just about travel. I think it's something bigger. And then it clicked and we're like, travel to possible with coaching. And we can incorporate the journey part as far as a trip into the coaching process. And so that's when travel to possible, our online business, became a reality.
I don't want to call people out because I do. Why not? Okay. So I'm going to call people out. Like I hear we have thousands of people listening right now. So like we hear all the time, I'm just not ready. I'm sick. I just got over cancer. I hurt my back. I'm in a wheelchair. Later. Right. And I get it. I totally get it. Like, I've get it. But man, there is no later. Has 2020 not taught everybody listening right now that there ain't no later? It's not. Now it's now. This is it. And the best time was actually a year ago before all this started. So now the next best time is today. Yeah. And to hear you guys say that's why I really wanted to talk to y'all, because I can say it over and over. But like, man, there's somebody out there listening that just got over cancer and they're 6 months remission. And they're like, man, I'm just going to wait a little longer. No, you got to go. You got to go. And there's somebody out there that's sitting in a wheelchair right now and you got to go. You got to get up and you got to do it. Yeah. And it's all possible within your limitations. That's fine. We all work at a different pace. You know what I'm saying? But to hear you guys say that and what you're doing and the risks you've taken, and to hear you plowing forward, and even though you're pushing through snow, you're getting closer, right?
Yeah,
that's so inspiring. It's so amazing. It's almost more inspiring to me than even somebody who comes on and when they've already got their 100 members or whatever, right? Because you're pushing ahead, and it's like you've decided that you're going to do this, and it is going to happen no matter what, and nothing's going to stop you because nothing stopped you yet. No. And that's really what it takes to do this online. People think that online business is really simple, but it's not easy. It's never easy.
Right.
And even the flipped lifestyle, when you take control of your life, that's what we say. That's what we mean by flipped lifestyle. Like we're not going to let the world tell us how we're supposed to spend our time. We're going to spend our time like we choose on this earth, right? That's the flipped lifestyle. But it's kind of like when you get control of a wild dog on a leash. You've got control. Right. But that thing's still trying to get away from you, right? All the time. And you have to maintain control. And man, when you decide to do it, it's going to happen. So let's talk more about Travel to Possible now. So that's where we're at. Congratulations for taking control of your life and finding your bridge. That's what I call contract work. It's the bridge to freedom, right? I'd rather be on the bridge than on the other side still trapped.
Yes,
right?
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you're on the bridge. It's a beautiful view. You're looking over at the water as you're passing over the bridge, right? It's nice. You're moving toward your destination. But so Travel to Possible, what is the concept? What does it mean? Like I assume that you're going to coach people, and maybe like a trip is like the reward, like the accomplishment or their goal or something, or maybe travel's a part of that. But like, what are you trying to accomplish with Travel to Possible as a community?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Shane, we help people who are stuck in life get unstuck so they can travel to what is possible for them in their life. We help people turn convictions of what should be to their new reality, period. And what we found was when we went out and we started talking to our avatar and about what was important to them or their biggest challenge they were dealing with when it came to getting unstuck, we found out that they were really stuck with not being able to get a vision for their life, or if they did have that vision for their life, taking the next steps towards it. They also struggled with self-doubt and just not believing in themselves, like they were enough to even pull off their dream. And the third category had to do with career, just getting stuck in their career. And whether they were making a lot of money or not enough at it, it just wasn't fulfilling them anymore. So that's what we help really concentrate on and get our clients up and out to what life is going to look like to them and how it matches with their values, not someone else's.
So this is a life coaching style business where you're helping people get unstuck, and you're going to create this in a membership setting, correct?
Yes.
Where you're going to do you're going to do Q&As. You're going to have training to bust through mindset issues.
Yes. And travel is a big piece of that. Kind of like you were saying, travel is where it's a part of our story too. We got clarity in regards to where we wanted to go and what God had for us in our lives when we traveled. For Sirena, she was talking about Disney. She saw the possibilities there. For me, it was when I quit my agency and I went into probably the worst depression I'd ever been in. I'm like, I just took my career and flushed it down the toilet, right? And I got a wife and a child, and it's like, oh my gosh, we're in Western North Carolina and you're Asheville. What am I going to do for work now, right? But I took a trip out to the Rocky Mountains with one of my best friends. And I had that space, that clarity where I could dream. And all of a sudden I realized, you know what? I want to consult. I want to help people get from a current state, from where they are right now, to a future state that they would not have been able to have hit unless they had that help from a guide. So how do I do that? What does that look like? And the answer was coaching. So that's where the travel piece. So we encourage people to take a trip of their own. It could be across the street to their aunt's house for a weekend, or it could be across the country or to Europe. But we kind of have a self-guided component that helps them with everything they're learning from us. They can really get clear on where they want to go and why.
And so basically, who is your avatar? Who are you trying to talk to? Can you explain your avatar to me? Because I see the problem form that you solve, right? And I would totally not use the word vision in anything you talk about too. I would always say the word destination, because vision and destination means something different. but very similar. And like you have a destination you want to get to, but you can't figure out how to get there. You don't have a map, right? You need to totally lay travel language and lingo over. You need to get away from the coach speak. Like Brooke Castillo at the life coach school is a life coach. She's going to use coach speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Brooke, and she's a former member of the Flip Lifestyle community too, by the way. But she does life coaching, but this is not the same thing. Like this is, I would use that as your gimmick, right? Like so that it sounds different and you can totally lay that over there. All right, now
I love it. Thank you.
So who is the avatar right now that you all got written down?
We think it's people mostly from their 30s to their maybe late 40s, early 50s, because we have noted in our lifespan that, you could travel along in life and then all of a sudden you kind of feel like, I didn't think I would be here. This is not what I thought I'd be doing at this point in time in my life. And you kind of feel uncertain and stuck. And like one of our tags is don't be here next year, travel to possible.
Yeah.
So make a change, and do that. So we're thinking
that's a really good tagline.
No, she's great at that.
That is amazing. Don't be here next year. That is amazing. That will relate so much to that's an awesome tagline.
No, seriously, she's like the Bob Dylan of catchy, like little phrases like that. No, I'm serious. That's
high praise. You're the folk hero of catchphrases. That's amazing.
And so in talking with people, we did like a deep dive survey and we just asked people, and it was so interesting. They all landed in these like 4 areas that Kurt just talked about. And so we're targeting people who just, have kind of gone through life and they're married and they just feel stuck. Like, I'm in this career because I've been in it for the last 10, 15 years. And why do I want to start over now? But I hate what I do. Or for me, it was like, the stress of keeping up a home and running after a daughter that's active and doing that, it's just like, this is not how I want to live. I want to be more available emotionally, physically, to be able to do that. So we're targeting people who are stuck because they want to make change and they're not sure and they need that support. And we see that in our own life that we needed somebody else to come in to kind of coach us through these. Like I struggled, when I first wanted to start my own thing. And the biggest struggle was my mindset. I wasn't enough. All those years of experience, even though I saw successes with people I was working with, I still didn't feel I was enough. So we really see people through what we struggled with. We see that in others and we want to do that. And our first step though, is like, we've proven out like our quiz funnel and our hook and whatnot. And so we are going to be targeting people using travel terms actually, and putting them in 4 different areas as solo travelers, sightseers, and all this means specifically maybe where they're at and how short-sighted. But basically probably people who are married with families and kind of in that stage of life of not midlife crisis, but I feel kind of stuck. I need something new, but I'm too kind of timid and scared and I'm not sure if I need to make that transition. And if we can speak to anything, it's make the transition.
Well, it's midlife crisis.
It's midlife crisis. I was going to say that too. I was going to be like, no, it's totally midlife crisis. This is exactly who you're talking to. Right? Yeah, but it's not the midlife crisis like leave my spouse with a Corvette and a 20-year-old. No. Not that kind of midlife crisis. That's not what we're looking for here, people. No. It's the joint midlife crisis. It's the one flesh midlife crisis. Yeah. It's like, man, like. I always like maybe they wanted some roots, but gosh, they didn't want to dig down so deep they couldn't blow away, right? Like it's like they settled and not they settled. They didn't choose to settle down.
Right.
Like, that's the person you want.
And we're anti like, I don't want to put my roots down too deep because I don't want to miss on what the next adventure could be. And that's where I see, helping people plan their travel. It's fun because I see it more than just a getaway. It can change your life.
I even think of me and Jocelyn, like we bought the lake house. We bought our house like, I don't know, 5 years ago now, maybe. I don't know. I don't even remember what year it was. Maybe 4. I don't know. But Jocelyn and I started getting antsy lately. And like, we've had these opportunities to like go to different places and buy some new land and do some other things. And like, we were even like, when we moved into this place, we were like, this is awesome. But even now we're like, is it awesome? Is there something else that's awesome too? And we were kind of like, we looked at our life like together and apart, and it's on cue every 5 years we start moving. It's so bizarre, man. It's like we don't want those deep roots. Like I have deep roots that I can go revisit, but like our plan to retire someday is to Jocelyn doesn't even want a house someday, but we're not going to be like RV people. She wants to go live in all-inclusive resorts around the Caribbean and just like move once a month, because you can totally do that cheap. Not cheap, but like you could get by with like $5 to $10 a month, right? Like you could do it if you wanted to. And we're like, how much money would it take to go from 50 to 90 to do that? We need to make that much money, right? Like, right. So like that's right. But we even now, like we're like, do we really want to live here forever? I mean, it's awesome. We have our own lake and everything. It's cool. But like there are people like that. And I actually think that I think you're not focusing on the travel enough. You're focusing too much on the coaching stuff. And I get it because I know your backgrounds, but it is coaching to get to where you want. But I think you have to talk. I think the person who's going to respond to this is going to be this person that's sitting on their couch with their spouse and they're always watching International House Hunters and they're looking at all these places and they're like, dang, I wish I could go to those places. I think it's someone who says, I want to travel, but I can't because I'm stuck because of this ... And then you have to answer all those questions. And I think the travel hook is like more important than even you're making it. Like you're using it as a gimmick instead of the real thing. Like your destination might be to change your job, but it's to change your job so that you can travel, so that you can be, you can fulfill your wanderlust, and so that you can. And if you just niche down one more layer, there's probably more people there that will respond really big to this. And like that allows you to make free content showing your travel and showing that you're doing these things. Like our flipped lifestyle, like for example, our avatar is someone basically who wants to be with their kids more. It doesn't necessarily mean they want to go anywhere or move or do anything different, right? It's like, that's why one of the most, like my goal was to take my kids to school every morning. That's a totally different person than someone who wants to travel 6 times a year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or has a dream, has a bucket list that they don't believe that they are going to achieve. Right. Like that's the problem you're trying to solve for someone is they're trying to get unstuck. That's the problem, but it's so that they can go to the places they physically want to go. Right. Yeah. So if you will, so make sure that you don't lose that in Travel to Possible. Like you have to combine the travel element to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Brad Barrett is a former member of the Flipped Lifestyle community. He's an alumni. Brad Barrett came in. He had a website called richmondsavers.com. And he wanted to take his family to Disney, but he didn't think he could afford it. So he figured out how to travel to Disney for free on travel points, like credit cards, right? And pay them all off debt free, but he got enough points to go. And he took his trip to do this, right? So he started teaching people like how to do that, right? How to make these decisions and spend the points and, and get enough points to go like on your own. Okay. Mm-hmm. His goal was to quit his job, right? When he came into the Flipped Lifestyle community, he told me my job is I want to quit my job. I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want my wife to be an accountant. I want us to be, all I want is to be able to pick my kid up off the school bus at 3:30. That's my goal. Right. So we had to focus totally on that goal. That was his mission in life. His goal wasn't to travel all over the world. His goal wasn't to go to Egypt. He was a perfect fit for our community because he's like, I heard you tell a story about how you take your kids to school every day and they don't have to ride the bus and they're with you. And he's like, that related to me. Like you have to click that. Now, Brad also, for anybody who doesn't know, is the co-host of Choose FI, which is one of the biggest podcasts on the planet, by the way. So like, if you check that out, check Brad out, you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like my message was so tight when he heard it, he knew he was in the right place. Like if you just say, oh, we'll get you unstuck. Well, that's what every coach is saying. But if you say, I will get you unstuck so that your bucket list becomes a reality, it's a total, now you've got them. You're the travel people that make bucket list reality or something like that. You can still teach the same things. You got to get them unstuck. Sure. You still have to go through all the mindset issues, but does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're speaking to the end result that they really want by addressing the issues underneath.
I'm just
how much do you guys travel?
Oh, we've traveled quite a bit. I mean,
I've done a lot of worldwide travel actually. And recently we just made the decision that we want to go to Disney and we're going to Disney.
Yeah.
we're doing, we're just doing
We've gone
that.
3 times in the past 3 years because we made the decision. And we adjusted our life to be able to do it. So
I'm going in May. I'm right there with you. I love Disney. I'm glad it's open again. Right? Yeah. Your marketing you should never put a picture on your site that's not travel, right? Like people have to see the dream, or if they're going to make it a reality. So be careful that you don't dip into the professional looking photos of coaching and things like that. Like your whole site, Travel to Possible, is just all your travel from anywhere you've ever been in the past, period, and everywhere you go in the future.
Can I ask you a question based on that? Because I love where you're going with it. So far, we were kind of in the same plane, but not as deep as you're going, which I love. So we were actually using the Volkswagen bus. And in our Facebook ad, it was 2 guys sitting on top of a Volkswagen bus, probably like on the beach or something, and kind of giving that aura of having a freedom and just being
go where you want to go.
Right.
Yeah. I would use a couple though in your marketing, because you said something about families and stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use going with friends or buddies or anything. If you really want to hit those people, like when we make a sales page, we always say, like, for example, our testimonials. We have thousands of testimonials. Like we've collected like something like 1,300 testimonials or something crazy, right? So like we have all these testimonials, but when we think about the 5 that make it onto our sales page, I have to ask myself, one, we always ask our testimonials for a family photo. I do not post pictures. If someone won't give me a family photo, they're not going to be a testimonial for us, because I need people to see that. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to our page, you'll see Jeanette Stein with her 6 kids and her husband. You'll see Evan Burse with his wife and her 4 kids. You'll see all these other people. They have their entire families with them, right? Because the person who comes to your sales page or your site must see themselves. I would never have started my online business if I had not went to Pat Flynn's website and saw a picture of him holding his son. It's the only reason I listened to his show. Is I didn't listen to it because he wasn't famous at the time. He was a nobody. He had 30 episodes of his podcast. I didn't care about passive income or what he was talking about. I just wanted to make a living. But I saw him holding his son. That's the only reason I listened to that podcast. That's the only reason I jumped off that lawnmower. That's the only reason I ran inside and started an online business. And if I never saw myself in his marketing, I never would have took action. So if you post a picture of 2 dudes on top of a bus, I'm not going to see myself. Your character's not, your avatar is not going to see that.
Right.
So be careful with the images. Be very self-selecting.
Excellent. Yeah. I love it.
And that's true with y'all too. I grew up in Indiana, and my brother, huge football coach. My whole family was all about coaching and whatnot. I mean, just hearing you talk, I see my brother. And,
he's a great guy. I bet he's smart. He's good looking. That dude, I mean, he just goes out and has the world by the horn. I was kidding.
Never had a better brother.
Great dad, awesome husband. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a special crown in heaven waiting on that guy. I'm curious. Yeah.
But anyway, I connected with y'all because of that, and family and focus and why you want to do what you want to do. And
but that's all by design. Like people laugh like, I mean, people will be like, well, you're just artificially creating this. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm taking the truth and showing it to you. Like that's what most people don't do in their marketing. They want to take the illusion of what they want to be, right? No, I'm sitting here in a t-shirt with a hat that doesn't match my shirt, wearing a Kentucky hat, and I'm talking to you in my exact voice. If we were alone and not recording this, we would be having the same conversation. You have to be that authentic if you're going to stand out in the coaching world, for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah.
Well, can we ask you, we have kind of our in, up, and max kind of thing. Can we just ask you if you think we're on the right track? Do you want to
go ahead?
I want to help you guys get launched, because the faster you launch this and out there and everything's rolling, like the better. So you ask me whatever you need help with.
So we're going to get a quiz funnel up. And with that, we're going to offer a free webinar, which is a first class in a series of, will be 6 live classes that after they get the free one, then we'll sell the next 5 that connect with that. And we're thinking of selling that around $500. And then what will come out of that is we will sell a group coaching situation where it'd be 3 people, a small situation. Now that's going to be in the upwards of around 8 to 10 probably for that. And then there could be individual coaching, which would be much more with Kurt. And then the Supermax is actually a destination experience where we will travel someplace with a group, and there would be planned out exercises for them to do during that time to kind of explore. Did I hit all of them?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of where that's what we have so far.
That's your launch plan, basically, for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it's
And
a
the
quiz.
membership comes in once we get enough people on board. Do you know what I'm saying?
Can I just throw a bomb in the middle of your entire plan?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I do that?
Yeah. Please. Yeah.
Okay. I know who Kurt works for. I know he's a pro coach. This is pro. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
Okay.
and I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to create cash flow in the beginning and change later, right? I see what you're doing. Okay. I don't think you should do this. I think you should have the membership. So this is a little bit different model of a membership that will be more work intensive in the beginning. Okay. I think you should do the webinar. I like the way the plan. I think all the courses should be in the membership, and you should give them all to the people when they join. Okay. So that's fine. I don't think there's any problem there. Why don't you charge $497 for a year's membership, and then have $100 a month membership? Okay, $97 or something like that. Now, here's why I think that. Okay, one, I think you're going to convert a lot more people. Like, you send them to a page, and you're like, "Hey, it's $97 a month. You can join on the monthly, or we'll give you $497 a month." Right.
Right.
So do that. Okay. Let Kurt lead weekly Q&As in the beginning. Weekly coaching live with a pro with a background that can do it. Okay. Access to these courses that you're already going to make. You see what I'm saying? If you get 5 people, you're making $500 a month. If you get 10 people, you're making $1,000 a month. If you get 20, you're 20, 30 people away from a salary this way. Instead of maybe somebody gives you $500 for a course. You can still have the annual plan there for a discount, but you just sell it and give them a choice. Now, here's why I say to do this. Number one, Kurt, every time someone shows up at one of those weekly Q&As, you've got a sales call with 20, 30 people that you can get onto a one-on-one coaching call later in the week. Okay. So then you can offer like $300 an hour or something for any, like, you can say, all right, a lot of questions this week, went through the courses. I got 5 calls this week, book them. You're still going to get all the coaching money without having to go through all this rigmarole. You see what I'm saying? Your membership is going to start stacking from the very beginning. And if you're going to show up on webinars, you might as well just put like 10 people in and get a $1,000 raise every time you do one. So if you do 12 webinars, every week could be $1,000 raise instead of maybe 2 courses at the sale. Like, what if you see what I'm saying? And then you can put that money back into it. So I only say this because I've seen so many people do it this way. I'm not saying you can't make money, but this is feast or famine. This is launch to launch. Every webinar must make money or you don't make money. And that's a big sell as a $500 course, right?
Right.
It's a lot easier to sell a $97 a month membership they can cancel anytime. And then when they get to the sales page, you just happen to have an annual plan that's $500. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think you're just backwards in what you're trying to do.
Okay.
You need to flip it on its head and just open the membership. Are the courses done? You've already got these recorded?
No, we're just going to do them live. We already have the plan for them, and we're going to go ahead and just do it live once we get our first person to the webinar.
So now you get to promise people that in a pre-sale, and you can go ahead and start selling memberships next week. All you got to do is make the webinar. You can open it with a promise, like, "Hey, we're making these live over the next 6 weeks."
Yeah.
We go out and run some ads, get a few people in there, and now you just start stacking I'm a big believer in opening the membership from day one, which anyone who listens to this program probably can tell, right?
Well, actually, I was pushing that.
Aha! All right, Kurt, I got your wife on my side. You've lost. So, I mean, she's got 2 votes to your 1. That's how it works in my house.
I could have told you that was going to happen anyways. I mean,
coaches will always do this. Like, I probably knew you were going to say that before you said it, because coaches know one-on-one. That's what they feel, right? So they want to flavor the membership with that. But listen, you can do some crazy stuff in the beginning too. Like, for example, you could give away some of your time to any member. Like, you could say, "Hey, members, I'm opening, you can get a 20-minute call with me just for being a member. You don't even have to sell it." And then you can sell them a package that gives them more time. So, like, let's say you have 100, let's say in the next 3 months, you get 50 people. That's $5,000 a month right there. You're done. You're making $60,000 a year within 3 months. which is possible. It's totally possible
Mhm.
if you run some ads and do some stuff, right? If you're doing a webinar every week for 12 weeks and you're running ads to the webinar with tight messaging, you can totally get to 50 people in that amount of time. Probably get to 100 if you push it, right? So let's say you get to 5 to 10,000 a month. Well, you've only got 50 people. So like, what if you did 50, 20-minute spots in an entire month? You just book your calendar up, and if anybody, and here's the deal, it's the 80-20 rule. Only 20% of those people are ever going to take advantage of that, right? Because people forget about it. It's not, you're not trying to make them forget. That's just human nature. Go try to get someone to volunteer at your church. About 20% of them will volunteer. About 10% are going to tithe. I'm just saying. I'm calling you out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So so you could just book your calendar from 10 to 2 every day, and anybody that wanted one 20-minute call a month could book. And it's just a part of the deal. And then you coach them. And then at the end of the call, you could say, hey, look, I also keep 3 to 5 open. You know, if you want to add those are $297 an hour. If you want to pick some more trips, so you can pick up cash along the way through that process. And it's just a lot simpler. It's like, I'm a member, I get to coach, and it's awesome if I want to upgrade to another coaching package. Super simple.
I like that.
And you sell one thing that way.
Yeah, that's great. That is really super.
This is a community-driven thing too. Like if you say there's a community of people chasing the travel lifestyle, like not the nomadic lifestyle. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking for, man, I'd love to take one trip a quarter. That's what I'd love to do. If I could take if I could take 2 good trips a year with my family that I can't take now, that would be a dream for a lot of people. Yeah. And if you can give them the space and the success to do that, that's why I started Flip Lifestyle. My buddy came up to me at church crying. Jocelyn had helped his wife quit her job before we ever started teaching this. And he was crying. I said, dude, you all right? And he said, yeah, man, I've never thanked you for how much you're and Jocelyn helping us changed our life. My wife wanted to stay home and homeschool her kids. She's doing that now. And we went to Florida over Christmas, and I never have afforded that if we weren't making money online. And like, he was just one vacation a year. He couldn't afford one, but now he got to take one. Like, that's your avatar, that guy, you know?
Yeah. I love it. I love
a community of people doing that, man. Sounds impressive to me.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Well, no, this is very, very good advice. And I think that, it's getting people what they want, at the end of the day, just relentlessly hitting that over and over again. But I love that model. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surround yourself with a community of people who are on a journey to a destination. And then you can talk about like how you love how travel has opened your mind, and now you coach people to get to the place where they can do that, right? Your courses will reflect that. Wow. Everybody's in one. You only have one thing, that you don't have 6 layers or 3 offers or whatever you said. You got one thing. You got a membership. Mm-hmm. You just $97 a month, and offer some really good discount for the year, like 25 or 50% off, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Again, only 9 out of 10 people will take the annual anyway. So it's just cash flow for ads is what it is. But yeah, it's just like, hey, it's $97 a month. And where else can you get $97 and get to talk to a real coach who's done what you've done? And you can put that on your sales page so I don't say it out loud.
Yeah.
Right? But you can just talk, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right. So you can just say that, like, I'm a pro coach. So you can't go pay someone else $1,000, or you get one call a month for just hanging out. Then when you get to 100 people, you can take that out. You see what I'm saying? And you can just offer paid coaching. But it'll get you so much avatar. Give me an interview your avatar a bunch and talk to them, and it'll simplify it. I'm telling you,
it's almost like a booster that helps you scale a lot faster, right?
Exactly, right? Because it was like 12 weeks webinars. The goal is to sell 5 a week, right? Yep. 5 times 12 is 60. You're at 6,500 a month. In 12 weeks, hardcore. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's not unreasonable. I mean,
correct.
If you can get 25 people on a webinar and sell 5 of them on a $97 product and just stack them every month or every week on a webinar, just start over every week. Run ads, get a webinar. Run ads, get a webinar. By 12 weeks, you've got a perfect webinar that you could go in and just edit down and start doing evergreen type stuff too.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you are looking at me like your eyes are as big as like this coffee cup right here.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? What? That's not what we came in with, but we're going out with it.
Well, my biggest question now is where do I send the check to and how much?
I'll take 20% of your membership.
There we go. Send the contract over.
Yeah. People always accuse us of charging people to be on the podcast. because some people do that, and I'm like everybody's a member that's on the podcast, but we don't charge extra for the podcast. It's just like we look for action takers, and I look for inspiring stories, and that's why our success forum. If you're listening to this and you're a member and you don't post in that success forum 3 times a week, that's where we pick guests, people who, or like in the general forum, if you've got a great question, if you ask a question in my team, like Jocelyn's in the forums, I do all the customer face or the public facing stuff. And when Jocelyn or our people see a really good question, she's like, Shane, you need to talk to these people. They've got a good question. And right. So that's what we're looking for, is if you have a good question, if I have a success story, like that's how you get on this show. Right. So everybody out there, I'm just telling you, if you're not a member, you need to be a member. And if you are a member, you need to be posting because you're missing out on your chance. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, that membership changed our lives, and our lives are very, very different now because of that membership and all the value you guys brought into our lives. So it's been worth every single penny.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's talk about the next 24 hours. After that shameless plug, I totally did not pay for it or ask for you to say.
No, you did. Yeah.
All right. What do you guys think your very next step is? What do you need to work on right now? We got to take action in the next 24 hours. So what do you think the next step is for all this?
I think the next step is to go ahead and, just like you said, Shane, take our business model, turn it up on its head, and just get a clear flow of how the webinar flows into the, offer into a membership. Because I really, really like that. And so then strategize, work it backwards. We'll say that by January, end of January, we want to have this launched. And so then we just basically hit our steps in reverse. But we have to have that plan in place. So time-wise and content strategy-wise.
Yep.
And you guys know, as always, we will be inside the forums. If you need to ask any questions, you can come into the community. You can ask for help, and we will help you plan that out. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Wow, what a great story. Yeah. You guys inspire me to take more action. I love it. I mean, just being fearless and going forward and giving yourself the opportunity to succeed. That is all any of us can ask for in this life. Thank you for being so vulnerable. I know it's a weird, people come on the podcast like, what are we doing? I'm a guest on this podcast. And it could be a little nerve wracking, but man, you guys, I know this story is going to inspire somebody else to take action and do that today. So thank you guys for all your time.
Thank you so much, Shane.
Oh man, what an amazing conversation with Kurt and Sirena today. We went so deep on everything about their upcoming membership side. And it was just so inspiring to see somebody go out there and take action and being afraid and just doing it anyway, and to stop dreaming and to start doing. And I have no doubt that they are going to knock it out of the park when their membership rolls out later in January. All right, guys, before we go, we absolutely love to read a Bible verse at the end of every episode of the Flipped Lifestyle podcast. Jocelyn and I get a lot of our inspiration and motivation from the Bible. You would not believe how much is in that book about business and making money. I mean, it's everywhere, but there's a lot of other good stuff too. And I'm super excited because Kurt would like to share a Bible verse today that is important to him and Sirena. So Kurt, take it away.
Yeah, great, Shane. Thank you. And so it's Psalm 90:17, and it says, "May the favor of our Lord rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for us." Yes, establish the work of our hands. And I think to us that is very, very meaningful because, the Lord has really shown with clarity to us what that work of our hands really is in accordance to who he made us and our values. And so we want his favor as we move forward in our special way of serving the world and making it a better place for his name's sake.
Wow. What a great Bible verse. I don't even know if I've ever read that Bible verse, but think about it. Like, the Lord will establish the work of your hands. Establish the work of your hands. Think about that. Like, you have to do the work to get established, right? Like, that's what that verse is really saying. Like, you've got to put in the work. You got to do the work first, and he will establish the work of your hands. And that's what Kurt and Sirena are doing inside of the Flipped Lifestyle community. They are putting themselves out there. They are taking risks. They didn't wait for the perfect moment to quit their job. They didn't wait for the perfect moment to pursue their dreams. They are in the process of doing it. And yes, they had to change their life. And yes, they had to build a bridge to that better future, but they're on the bridge now. They're moving forward, and they are putting in the work that can get established on the other side. And that's what we do every day in the Flipped Lifestyle community with hundreds of members, family-focused entrepreneurs from around the world who put in the work to build better futures for their family. And we want you to put in the work with us. We want you to be in the Flipped Lifestyle community too, so that you can go out and you can build a business that could change your family's future. All you have to do to join the Flipped Lifestyle community is go to flippedlifestyle.com/free. That's FLIPPED lifestyle.com/free. And you can start a free trial today to check out all that our program, our community, and everything we have in there has to offer. So go to flippedlifestyle.com/free. You can get in. That's 100% access. You can try it out for a few days. You can look at our courses. Hey, you could get your online business idea right now. You could get your membership idea right now in there for free over the next few days. Check it out. We let you come in. We let you see the community. We let you see the forums. We let you in the Facebook group. We let you try it out for free. We got nothing to hide. That's accessible to everything in the Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint, everything in the Flipped Lifestyle community, and access to all of the other opportunities that we provide for our members. Right now, try it out for free. flippedlifestyle.com/free. Let's get you started toward a better future for your family as well. All right, guys, that is all the time we have for this week. As always, thank you so much for listening to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Make sure, if you have not done so yet, that you go leave us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. Download a few episodes so you got them for the road. The Apple algorithm loves to see downloads, and that helps us get our message out there of hope and freedom for families everywhere through online business. Until next time, get out there, take action, do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then. One more thing before we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. If you love the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, if we bring a little joy and a little happiness and we bring some knowledge into your life every single week, could you do us a favor? Go to Apple Podcast and hit subscribe. Download a few of the podcast episodes onto your phone. Apple's algorithm loves seeing downloads and it loves seeing those subscribes. And please leave us an honest review over on Apple Podcast. That'll help us grow the show, expand the mission, and reach more people so that we can help them change their family's future as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.